Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute, but as always, things take time. We need breaks. But today is gonna be a little different. I'm gonna give you guys a story time while you watch me do these nails. These are for Juice when she went to Miami. That was like months ago, but oh well. We are here now. We can't dwell on the past. So I'm gonna give you guys a little story time about how I found out I had lupus and everything that happened to that. So all right, here we go. And right here you see me getting all her colors. But I may stop and tell y'all what I'm doing throughout the nail video. But other than that, y'all can just watch and listen. So in 2015, I up and moved to Virginia. Fast forward to 2016. 2016, I was at home. It was a normal day the day before. So it was a normal day. I didn't feel nothing. Like, I just felt fine the day before all this happened took place. So I went to sleep as usual. I woke up and I couldn't move. So I thought I was having, this is my first time using this tool, y'all. I'm probably pausing between of it. I had woke up and couldn't feel like the right side of my chest, and I thought I was having a stroke. So, and I couldn't move. So what I did was I kind of threw myself out the bed. I had a higher bed. I threw myself out the bed and I crawled to the living room. I had an apartment at this time. I crawled to the living room and I sat in between. I had an L-shaped couch. I sat in between the L, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had texted my mother who was in Ohio, and I told her, like, I'm in excruciating pain. And I'm the type of person that I'm not gonna tell you if I'm in pain unless it's really, really bad. Like, I have a high tolerance for pain. So basically I texted my mother that, and my kids were still asleep at this point. They were 6 and 7, I believe. Yeah, they were 6 and 7. So when they woke up, they came in. I was scared of not having nowhere for them to go or losing them or having to go to the hospital. But so I wasn't really thinking logically. I just know I was in pain, and that's it. That's all I know. And I didn't want to lose my kids. That's all I know. So I told my kids if I stopped breathing to call 911. So of course they sat next to me the whole time. My mom got there about my kids woke up, I say about 10. My mom got there about 11:30ish. And when she came in, she called 911. The paramedics came. They did everything they needed to do. And they was like, your oxygen levels are low. My oxygen level was at like a 65 at this time. So I was like, they were like, we're going to take you because we don't know what's going on. Your heart seems fine. So I'm like, okay. So they take me to the hospital. I have pneumonia. I end up spending maybe a week and a half in the hospital with pneumonia. And I'm thinking everything fine. They send me home. I go home or whatever. By this time, my boyfriend at the time, he ended up coming to stay more often with me, just till I get back up and running. So a couple days later, after I felt well enough to go back to work, I ended up going back to work. And that night, I was working nights. So that night, I felt a little bit of pain, but it wasn't nothing like thought I was just still coming over the pneumonia. So that next day, he worked a split shift. So we would usually take a nap when I got off of work at like 9. And then we would take a nap, and then he would go back to work around like 3. So we was taking our nap, and the kids would get out of school at like 3:30, 4. They would get home. So we was taking our nap, and when we woke up, I had told him, like, dang, it feel like somebody hit me in the chest with a club. And I was like, but it's the other side of my chest now. So he like, dang, for real? I'm like, yeah. So he was like, well, I'm going to go to work, and if you feel any pain, go to the hospital. Any more pain, go to the hospital. So I'm like, okay. So, of course, I get up, continue doing my regular, due diligence, and I'm still feeling this pain, though. So when my kids come in from school, at this point, I'm in the kitchen about to cook dinner or whatever. So I'm like, I text him and tell him, like, I'm about to go to the hospital because it just feel worse or whatever. And so I get my kids, put them in the car, and go to the hospital. So when I get to the hospital, they end up taking me back to do a CAT scan or whatever and bringing me back to the room. And like 5 minutes later, probably not even 5 minutes later, the doctor run in there and he was like, oh my gosh, people drop dead because of this. People drop dead because of this. And now at this point, like, my anxiety is through the roof. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is really going on? So he like, first thing, you have to find somewhere for your kids to go. So at this point, I had FaceTime my boyfriend at the time, and he like, Sade, don't cry, don't cry. Man, I just bust out crying. He was like, we gotta keep, you have a blood clot in your lung. Like, you have a blood clot in your lung. People drop dead because of this. People drop dead because of this. So at this time, I am bawling my eyes out. My boyfriend is on FaceTime. My kids, they all just staring at me like it's a big joke. Well, I don't think they thought it was a big joke, but they was just staring at me. And I was just so, like, exhausted. I was just, like, tired. I was tired. Like, I just didn't know nothing. So then, long story short, they end up my boyfriend ended up coming to get the kids or whatever, sat with me for a little while, then they left. And of course I called my mom, but she was back in Ohio, so she was like she was gonna come the next day because she had been drinking. So I was like, that's fine or whatever. I'm not thinking nothing is serious or whatever. Like, I know it's serious, but I'm not, like, in my mind, like, I'm gonna be okay. So they take me up to my hospital room, but by this time they didn't got so much pain medicine in me. I'm, like, out of it. My neighbor ended up coming, God rest her soul. Like, she ended up coming up there sitting with me the whole night, and I'm just like, I'm out of it. By this time, I don't even know my name. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know why I'm here. Like, mind you, I had drove to the hospital, so I didn't understand how I had got this, like, in this condition, but they had gave me so much pain medicine. So, a couple days later, I'm still there. They did the scope where they looked down my throat, seeing if it was any infection. They just couldn't figure out why. A person of my age, I was 26 at the time, a person of my age was in the hospital, like, and had pneumonia again, just had pneumonia, and I've never been sick before. So they couldn't figure out what was actually going on. So they was trying to get to the bottom of that. So but I'm still, like, most of this time, I was out of it. I was on pain medicine. I was out of it, like, the whole time. So then they tell me they got to do a lung biopsy on me because they really want to know what's going on, like, if anything is in there, because the scope came out fine. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So at this time my mother is still in town, but she has to go back to Ohio. So I'm like, you can go ahead and go back because they're not gonna do my surgery till Friday. So it's this Monday. So I'm like, you can go ahead and go back or whatever, and I'll just figure it out. So then she leaves. The next day she leaves and comes back to Ohio, and I'm there. And the next morning they tell me, like, a surgery spot has opened. Do you want to go today? So, but mind y'all, I am drugged up. So I'm like, yeah, like, sure. Like, the only person in town at this point is my boyfriend. So I'm like, well, my boyfriend at the time. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So I text him. I text my mom and tell everybody, like, I'm going into surgery today or whatever. So they end up taking me downstairs. He came in at, like, I don't know what time he came in, but I know my surgery was like 8 o'clock. So he came in, took me downstairs, and all I know I was talking to the lady, and I woke up, and when I woke up, I was on my back, and it was a camera staring directly at my face, and my hands were strapped. So backstory to when I got the scope, I woke up swinging on the lady. So I'm thinking that I'm strapped to this thing because I had been swinging on somebody. But it just was so surreal to me that, like, I'm thinking, like, oh, I'm in jail. I don't know what I was thinking. I just wasn't thinking, like, correctly, because I woke up and it was dark and the camera was facing me and I was strapped to the bed. At this time, I'm not knowing that nothing's on my face. I'm not knowing nothing, but I see a shadow walking in the room. And as I see the shadow, it's coming to the side of my bed. And when the lady get fully to the side of my bed, she like, do you want me to sit you up? In my head, I'm saying yes, but I'm not knowing that I'm not saying yes. So I must have shook my head. I don't know. But she sits me up. When she sits me up, I see that there are 2 machines in the room, and I see that the machines are breathing for me. Then I can't look down, but I realize that, like, okay, you on life support. Like, because I worked in the medical field. Like, now I'm realizing, like, you on life support. So straight ahead was the sink in the bathroom, and my phone was taped to the wall. My phone was ringing, and I'm got my hand strapped, but I'm pointing to my phone. So she's asking me these questions, and I'm either shaking or blinking. I don't know what I was doing, but she read what I was saying. So she hands me my phone, and when she hands me my phone, I don't answer it. I go to notes and I'm typing in with my hand, like, what is going on? So she like, if I unstrap your hands, don't pull that out because you're going to lose your voice box. So me, I'm like, okay, I talk a lot, so I'm not about to do nothing crazy. So then, so she's telling me, like, she was like, the doctors will tell you everything tomorrow or whatever. And there's really not much I can tell you, but you're on life support. Well, I don't know what she even told me. I couldn't even tell you what she told me, honestly. Like, so when she unstrapped my hand, she hands me a folder, a piece of paper, and a pen. And on that piece of paper, I wrote, "What the fuck?" I just kept writing. Excuse my language. What the f? What the f? What the f? So then, at this point, I'm taking pictures of myself. I'm texting everybody on my phone, like, just so, like, in case I die, like, I really want them to know, like, I was in here because I'm by myself. I'm in ICU. It's nighttime. Can't nobody in there. I don't know that it's nighttime, but I see that it's dark. I'm texting everybody and telling everybody, like, what's going on with me. I'm just in a frantic at this point, and I'm just crying, and I'm just not knowing what's going on. Okay, so fast forward to the next. Well, so she was like, do you want you take? I know I wrote on the paper, like, when can y'all take this out? And so she was like, the doctor will come around on his round. So I set up from 8 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock in the morning, crying my eyes out on life support until the doctor came. The doctor came around about 4. He said if I bent his finger, if I squeezed his thumb, that he would take it out. I tried to break his finger off. He didn't come. They didn't come take the life support out until 8 o'clock in the morning. When they took the tube out of my mouth, my whole body just went limp, and I just started thanking God, like, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. Even the nurses was in there crying with me. Like, I just was, like, so relieved that I had made it. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I just was like, it really changed me. Long story short, it really changed me. So the next day, well, she was like, well, you can go to step down ICU once you can get up and get moving. At this time, I'm not knowing that I got anything attached to my body. Like I said, I'm oblivious to everything that's going on. So I tried to get out the bed. The nurse was screaming, like, you can't get out the bed. You can't get out the bed. I had a chest tube. It was just a lot going on. It's just a lot. It's a longer story. But long story short, when I got to step down ICU, the doctors came and visited me. The medicine doctor, all the doctors, the vascular doctor, the heart doctor, the hematologist, the rheumatologist, the male rheumatologist and the female rheumatologist. But when the male rheumatologist came in, he came in first, and he was like, I'm going to diagnose you. Well, your diagnosis is lupus. After we looked at the biopsy or whatever, he was like, you also have a strain of lupus, which is called Sjogren's, which attacks your lungs and your... it just was a whole bunch. I can't even explain. I mean, I can explain it further, but going back to what he said. But then the female rheumatologist, she came in, and she basically was telling me how to live as a woman with lupus, and if I was to get pregnant and further down the line and stuff like that. So long story short, in 2016, I was on life support, and then I got diagnosed with lupus, and I've been living with it ever since. It's been hard, mentally, physically, and emotionally. It's hard to live with an autoimmune disease, but it's all in your mind. So it's like a mind thing. It's not like I wake up unhealthy every day. I know that I have unhealthy things going on with my body. So that affects me mentally. And being a single mom, of course, it's going to affect me. But I'll go more into that in a later video here. And in 2017, I moved back to Ohio because I felt like I needed that support of my family, and I didn't have that where I was living. And I just needed that for me and my kids. So here we are. And that's just the end of that story. I'll go more into depth. You guys got questions, you can leave them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them in another video, but I kind of wanted to get this video out. Here's me adding the girls' rhinestones. Back to the nails. Here's me adding her rhinestones. Yeah, she is ready for Miami. And that was my first time doing that, where I filed down to get the shaping, like the tip. It came out really cute, though. It came out really, really cute. And she had a ball in Miami, actually. She had a good time. That's what she told me. But yeah, guys. So I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of the video. Like I said, if you have any comments, questions, leave them down in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be posting more vlogs and stuff shortly. I've just been getting back because I had so much going on at the end of the summer. School's back in now. I have more time to adjust to what's going on. All right. Love you guys. Bye.